Huddle up, team. In today's video, we are exposing the fake returns on Wall Street.
Oh my gosh, this is so vitally important, okay? The numbers, the average annual rate of return that is promoted in your investment funds is not, I repeat, is not the real rate of return that you're earning. This is a big deal, and you need to understand the difference. And we're going to show you today the Wall Street number and the real number, and you can then make better decisions about your investments.
Right.
Okay? Guys, here's one of the rules, okay, of money. This is a money rule. It's this. It's not how much money you make. It's how much money you keep. And we are talking about rate of return. And we're going to cover the gross rate of return, and we're going to cover the net rate of return in today's video. And we're going to focus more on the net next week. But today we're talking about gross rates of return. And there's two ways to calculate it. The Wall Street way, which is average annual rate of return, and the real way, which is compound annual growth rate, CAGR, compound annual growth rate. That's the rate of return that is real, that's putting money into your pocket, okay, increasing the balance of your portfolio. But if you're making decisions based on average annual rate of return, you're in trouble.
Going to be sad.
You're going to be sad. You're going to have way less money than you are expecting to have, okay? So let's dig right into this. Let's take a look at an example. Here we go. Add to the stream. Okay. This is example one. You can see $100,000, right? What we're doing here is we're taking $100,000, and in this example, we're doing the compound of 10% every year. So 100,000, and after first year is 110. Then that earns 10%. So after year two, it's 121,000, and so on. After 5 years, what do we got? $161,000. This is the only time when the average annual rate of return equals the compound annual growth rate. The only time this happens is when there is a short period of time and when the annual return is the same and it's positive, okay, a positive number. This is the only time it happens. So it's completely not real life situation because that never happens in real life, right? So let's take a look again, this time at example number two. Example number two. This is where the average annual rate of return shows positive, a 10%, but you actually lose money. And you might be thinking, well, how can I show a positive rate of return and lose money? Super easy. It's just what are you taking the average of? Here, it's an average over time, okay, and not dollars. So let's look at this. If you start with $100,000 and you earn 50% return, now you're at $150,000, right? If you then lose 50%, you're not back to 100. Now you're below. You lost money. Now you're at 75,000. Year three, you gain 50%. Year four, you lose 50%. Year five, you gain 50%. Look at this. Average, this yellow for a reason is caution. Average annual return, caution, because this is showing 10%, because you take 50 minus 50, 50 minus 50, 50. That's, you end up with a net of 50 divided by 5 years is 10%. It's 10% average annual return, but you lost money. Now you could go and sell this fund easy because look, oh, it's got a positive 10% rate of return. But no, all the shareholders lost money. The compound annual growth rate, look at that, minus 3.34. Can you imagine? You think you're getting a 10% rate of return, but you're really losing. You're really getting minus 3.34% a year. Over 5 years, it's minus 15% and more. You've lost a lot of money, right? Look at, where are we at? Pull that up. You're down 15.63%. You've only got $84,375 left. You're not a happy camper if you're thinking you're earning an average 10% rate of return, right? Now look at example number three. This is the S&P 500. This is a 5-year, look back. So if you invested $100,000 and then in 2018 you lost about 4.4%, you got $95,000. But then you made money 31%. 125,000, then you earned 18%, then you earned 28%, boom. And then in 2022, you lost about 18% on your investment. So your $100,000 initially ends up being worth $157,000, give or take, right? Not bad, but look at the average annual return. It's showing 11.29%. But that's not the real return. The real return, your compound annual growth rate, is 9.48% because your balance is 157,000. Okay? Now, let me show you. Because if you had really earned 11.29% a year on your 100,000, here's how much money you'd have. Let's look at it. 100,000, 5 years, 11.2% compound annually, no more contributions, ending balance 170,718. If you really earned 11.29% a year, you'd have over $170,000. But you don't. You only have how much? $157,000. The compound annual growth rate, the real rate, is 9.48%. But what's going to be promoted, what's going to be sold to you is this great 11.29% rate of return, and it's fake. It's just not even real. Okay? So this is a problem because if you base your game plan, your financial game plan, your investment strategy around earning 11% a year, you're going to lose. You're going to be disappointed. You're not going to win your money game. Right? Let's take a look at this next example. So for you, if you're looking at saving $1,000 a month over 40 years, because I want you to start early. When you're 20 or when you're 25, you got to start early so that the compounding effect of money can work for you. If you put $1,000 a month away for 40 years at 8% rate of return, that's $3.2 million. Okay? If you did it at a 10% rate of return, it'd be almost $5.7 million. The rate of return matters, okay? But it matters more over a long period of time because of the compounding effect of money. But look what happens if you had 5%, $1.5 million. If you had 3%, $1.1 million. Now, here's why I'm showing you this. The gross rate of return matters. The gross rate of return matters, okay? If we're using the average annual rate of return and you're thinking you're getting 10%, but then you've got to pull out your fees, it could easily be 3%. So now you're left with 7%. Then you got to pull out for taxes if it's in a non-qualified retirement account. You could only be making 5.25%. Wow. When you think you're making 10, but it's worse. Remember the compound annual growth rate? If you're not getting 10, if the compound annual growth rate is really 8, and then you pull out for fees and taxes, you're left with $3.75 million. You could base your retirement plan on a 10% gross fake number and think you're going to have, $5.6 million, but really only end up with $1 million, $1.1 million. Oh my gosh. Like, this is critically important information. You got to understand this. So that's what we wanted to go over today. Rate of return matters. When we're talking about the compounding effect of money, time is the most important. You got to get longer periods of time, so you got to start early. Right. Then the amount of money you save is the next most important, and then rate of return is the third most important. Now, gross rate of return, remember, 2 ways to calculate. The Wall Street way, which is the fake way, it's the average annual rate of return, not a real number. You want the compound annual growth rate because that is the real number. So when you do your calculations, you're looking at something that's legit, okay? Now, we're super excited, guys. We are going to be rolling out our Summer of Savings, what are we calling it? Challenge. The Summer of Savings Challenge, because money is the number 2 variable, right? How much money can you save every month? We want to encourage you to save a lot of money this month and position yourself going into the fall, maybe some more challenging economic times. Now's the time to fix your financial house and get more money saved up. So we're going to do the Summer of Savings Challenge. Subscribe to the channel so you can get all the details and the updates. Also, we would love to see a like. Yeah. Tell the algo that this is good, worth watching. And we'd love to hear from you. So you can drop us a comment below and we will respond. But guys, the real rate of return, don't get fooled by the fake Wall Street number. Average annual return is not real. And you need to know about it. So that's it for us for today. We will see you next week on our next video.